hard for me to reflect on because don't I don't tend to have much awareness that it's happening at the time that it's happening. And there's kind of variables in the level kind of meltdowns that I experience. Like since childhood, I've experienced some meltdowns that have been pretty much what people think of, I think, when they think of a meltdown, like rocking and banging my head, where I just can't cope with something that has happened. It might be an emotional trigger, it might be sensory, it might be, there's a bunch of things that it might be that might have triggered it, or it might be multiple compounding factors, and I can't deal with it. And it's just, my body just gets completely overwhelmed. So I'll rock and smack my head against the wall or hit my head. That's generally the upper end of the spectrum of meltdowns. I also seem to have kind of earlier stage meltdowns where I cannot manage a situation and in other ways lash out. Like I might just get exceedingly angry or exceedingly like focused in on only critical things, and I can't see outside of that in that time. It's like everything is too overwhelming, and all I can see is all the problems that like issues and challenges, and I can't see past them. And in those ones, I'm not 100% certain what it looks like from the outside. I think I just look like somebody who is just losing their shit, just angry. Some basics, though, for me, well, that apply to me. Probably, I doubt they apply to everyone. But the basics that apply to me is generally to give me a bit of space and not touch me. Definitely don't touch me. Because in those moments, it seems to be a bit of a go-to when you're, oh, sorry, that reminds me. When I was in the maternity ward, I was kind of in a constant state of like just absolutely overwhelmed and at my limit. And it was very much, one of the ways that I do regulate when I'm overwhelmed is by sobbing. So I was pretty much sobbing 24/7 in the maternity ward, except for when I was looking after Bub. But any opportunity that I had to do so was basically releasing pressure by sobbing. And the midwives are all ridiculously lovely, but I did have to ask them not to touch me. Because when somebody is obviously distressed, it is a go-to. It is a very normal go-to to try and comfort them. But that was very much one of the worst things that people could do, unfortunately. So one of the things, yeah, very much so, just don't touch me is a massive thing about me managing meltdown. Yeah, that's a bit of a wild memory for me. Because obviously I was in the middle of labor. But mainly because I was getting told to move around the bed. So like I was getting moved from being on my back to being on my side to being on the other side. And when the doctor came in, I had been moved onto one side, and I was like extremely, extremely anxious and clinging to the little rail on the edge of the bed. And just like her body was like so tensed up and stressed. And I was trying to calm myself because I was trying to keep my body as calm as possible. So I had my phone next to my head, playing the same little tune on repeat that I find soothing. And the lights were lowered, and like the environment was set up to be as supportive of my overactive nervous system as possible. And this doctor came in and super friendly and lovely, just went, "Oh, Kayla, I know Kayla," and was super keen to engage with me in that moment. And I didn't, unfortunately, recognize them at all. I presume I had met them at one of the clinics, but they seemed to get worried by my being all tensed up and in one position and staring straight ahead through these little bars, which I was just focusing, and kept trying to engage with me, I think, in order to elicit a response that would comfort the doctor, maybe to like show that I was okay or something. So the doctor came in and touched my arm, touched my shoulder, and was trying to engage with me, and I was not capable of returning any of the things that, like, in that moment I knew that she wanted. I couldn't do. Like, I couldn't be like, "Hi." I was kind of overwhelmed at that point. So she kept trying. So she kept trying more and more touch. So rubbing my shoulder, rubbing my arm, rubbing my leg, and basically causing my body to tense up more and more and more, and me to get more and more panicked and distressed. It was the first introduction of a kind of interpersonal situation that I could not handle, and a bunch of additional sensory things that I couldn't handle, to a situation where I was already at pretty close to peak overwhelm. And that made me so distressed. I started to disassociate and just not be able to, like, register anything. And then I was getting so scared that I was getting so scared that I would tune out of the environment and not be able to register when somebody told me something important about the health of the baby. So I was, I was like fighting the impulse to check out of the whole thing and block everything out, fighting the impulse to disassociate, um, whilst receiving more and more uh, kind of triggers of disassociating. And oh, apologies. It's scary. That was very scary for me to feel like my own. Um, I was scared that my limitations might mean that I can't respond to some urgent instruction that was going to impact the health of the baby. So that whole situation just really, my mind just catastrophized everything a lot in that moment as well, and it just got very, very, very overwhelming. My partner and the nurses, though, they all kind of recognized, I think, what was happening and asked the doctor not to touch me. She persisted a few more times, but eventually I think somebody managed to get through to her that the things that she was doing that she thought were helping were making the situation worse. And yeah, she went out to attend to a different room. And then I don't know what really happened with that, but I know that a little while later, two doctors came in and they just put chairs at the end of the bed and they sat down and had a discussion between themselves, but clearly all loud enough for me to hear about about where I was at with the labor and how everything was going. And yeah, they talked for a bit, and it just kind of gave me the opportunity to gradually come back into the present and to feel like everything wasn't super stressful. Um, the point at which the first doctor had come in was also somebody had done some sort of check and then gone, oh my gosh, this is happening now, basically. So then the room was suddenly full of people. And then there was suddenly this doctor, and this doctor was trying to touch me and stuff. And that was all like, it was a lot of overwhelming things just tipped over the edge by somebody also adding into it a lot of physical touch that was just sets my body on absolute alert status. And also the kind of interpersonal demands that the doctor also brought with her that were like, I know you, and being all personable to me when I don't know, I didn't know her at all. And I couldn't return, or I couldn't do that reciprocal kind of social thing that was required in that moment. So that also was distressing.